We're going to kick this off today with Patrice Hardy. Patrice is a friend of mine from way back when I worked in Wake County Public Schools. She is an English language arts teacher, and I'm sure she'll give you some more details about herself in her presentation. But I'm excited to get this started with Patrice. And
hello, everyone. I just want to give a quick, I saw some people from Johnston County. I live in Clayton, go Joco. And I'm just going to talk to you about 15 minutes about student engagement in the time of Corona. Now, I'm an old 26-year veteran teaching ELA, so I will use a lot of references to that. So just get ready. Be ye also ready, my darling dears and lovely loves. My name is Patrice Hardy. I have been teaching for 26 years and I have the gray hair to prove everyone. Some have individual students' names, some have the names of my 2 children and grandkids, but you can reach me at pyhardy1971@gmail.com, and you can follow me on Twitter. I only have 47 followers, but I love Twitter at Hardy, Hardy Speaks. So I always open up with a quote, but there is a quote in Their Eyes Are Watching God by the legendary Zora Neale Hurston that says, there are years that ask questions and years that answer. Y'all, we have been in one of those years. I don't know which one, but I think we've had both questions and answers in this year of Corona. And I hope that you've had peace and challenges. I hope that you've had good times and things that have made you say, let me see if I can rethink that. And I'm hoping that student engagement is some of the things that we have rethought. So we all had to stop, flip on a dime, and start all the way over last March. So the question is, who is Zooming who? And I use Zoom because, that's Aretha Franklin illusion. But whether you were using Zoom, Google Meet, Carrier Pigeon, Pony Express, however you got into the homes and lives of your students this past year, congratulations. So I'm talking a little bit about student engagement. So you have to capture their hearts and capture their minds. And I want to make sure that I lead with this. Social emotional learning strategies have to be rooted in equity and real world connections. We have to love them as they are, for who they are and who they can become. If you are doing social and emotional learning with conformity in mind and teaching them how to behave, that is not going to get them ready for the real world. So I just want you to think about looking at Dina Simmons' work on social emotional learning and her liberated work. Because a lot of us, we throw a little question out there, but it's so important that you root your SEL in equity and social justice practices so that you can welcome your students for who they are and who they will become in your rooms, okay? So one of the things that we've done, and when I say we, teachers all over the world, but now I'm thinking specifically what I do is I'm very, very purposeful with names and identity in my students, in my classroom. So one of the first lessons we do is a flip grid on my name is and it is not, because I encourage my students to never let anyone mispronounce your name. Your name was given to you by your families, and it is not a difficulty or a stretch to expect people to call you what your mother and father gave you. So we spend a lot of time on that. And we talk about that in the chat. So one of the things that we do in my class, I'm going to give you things and you can write it down and we can ask it at the questions. How we do attendance in our classes is I had a student who said, Ms. Hardy, do it like this. So we call it the Jordan Ray 3-step method of attendance. There's a vibe check, VIBE, because everything's a vibe check question up for the day. And it could be, did you do your work for the week? It could be, what is our attendance procedure for asynchronous days? And it's ABCD. So you respond in the chat, and then when you hear your name on the attendance, you click enter. And I do not require my students to put their cameras on. I find it invasive, and I just don't believe in that. But my rule is when mama calls your name, you need to answer. I will call your name 3 times. After that, I'm calling your mama. Is Nancy all right? I have called her 3 times and I don't know where she is. And eventually she pops back up on my screen. We do interest inventories in the beginning of the year to find out what they like. You know, do you have any siblings that have gone to our school? Did I teach your sister or brother? So I can build relationships with my students. And the chat feature is our friend. It's where they interact with each other. And what happens after the relationships have been built in the classrooms, they will answer. Like if a student asks a question in the chat, the other kids will answer it for you before you even have to, because we build a family in our classrooms. And you can build real relationships online with students. I tire, and it bothers me. This is a Patrice thing. When people say, well, I can't build relationships because I can't see their faces. Do y'all remember pen pals back in the day? I mean, I am that old, where you only saw someone's penmanship and that was your very best friend. But that was still your friend, right? So what is the difference between a pen pal when you were young and seeing someone's avatar of their dog or their favorite anime feature on a screen? So let's not keep that narrative going that I can't build relationships because I can't see their faces. As I tell my colleagues in staff meetings, some of y'all need to cut y'all cameras off. Woo. After you have captured their hearts, yes, I said it, then you can capture their minds. Y'all, less is more. If you having 50, 11 things you have these children doing every day, don't do it. You're not going to remember how to do it. They're not going to remember how to do it. Teach the tech. So what we do in our classes, we have a web-based one-pager in our Hive that has everything that they're going to use in it. And we teach it before we expect them to be able to use it. Okay? We teach it before we expect them to use it. Now, I got to get back. Hold on. There we go. So every week on Sundays, I upload a weekly schedule for my students that says, this is everything we're going to do for the week. It has the links uploaded in Google Classroom. So on Sunday night, before I lay my head down, I know what I'm doing every day for that week. So that Sunday upload with a Monday delivery gives them the whole week to manage their time and to plan their week. Even though I have deadlines built in through the week, they have a Friday grace deadline for all assignments. A Friday grace deadline. So even though something might be due on Wednesday, you know you have until Friday at 3 o'clock, that's your grace. When I have them working on things in class, what we will call dead space, I will throw polls out on Google every 15 minutes to see, to make sure that they're still engaged and to keep them talking and thinking about things. And sometimes the polls are about what we're doing. It could be, is this a noun or a verb? Or it could be something like, okay, hot dogs or hamburgers for cookouts. And doing that poll, I found out I have kids who are vegetarian. So for the next poll, I said hot dogs, hamburgers, or a vegan option. So those are things. So from now on, whenever I'm doing a poll, now I know I have kids who don't eat meat. I found out kids don't take naps. I have kids that do. So when I'm talking about naps, if we're having a discussion, I try to make sure I'm including all of my babies. So another thing that we've done is we made a very protracted effort to teach our students the strategies, skills, and habits to successfully navigate remote learning. Because one of the phrases that we have banned in our classroom is, I don't like remote learning. This isn't good. I just can't do this. I said, sweeties, we've been doing this since last March. Let it go. Let it drop it. So we said, instead say, I haven't learned strategies and skills to successfully navigate remote learning. So we talked to all of our students that were doing well. That doesn't mean everybody had an A. Everyone who felt like they were doing well, we asked them, what is it that you are doing that is helping you be successful? And then we curated those and developed a remote learning strategy sheet that we share with our students at the beginning of every semester. And then we add to it with new strategies and skills. And then we teach them throughout the month. This month is organizational skills. So we talked about how can you continue to be organized, remembering the due dates, teaching them skills like, I didn't know that Google Classroom gives you a list of to-dos. My students taught me that. And I will give them credit of all the things that we do. Every week we do Wonder Wednesday support hours because everything in my classroom is cutesy. I should have been an elementary school teacher. I swear I should have. And that is where they come in and they can get help. And it could be that sometimes they just want to come. I just want to come in and check in and see how you doing. Oh, I'm fine, baby. You good? You need anything? I just want to work on my work in here with you. Go right ahead. You need me to play music? No music. No problem. After our live meet, because in our district, we have live meeting for the first 45 and they have independent work time. For some of our kids, we make them stay during independent work time to share your screen with me so I can see what you're doing. We have them, if they want a quiet place to work, so they can go to what we call the buzz-in room. Because in our classroom, we are the bees. Because 100 years ago, when I worked at central office in Wake County, we read a book called The Leadership of the Hive. And it clearly delineated for me and cemented the belief that honey is the only substance capable of sustaining life. It contains everything you need, including water. And I believe that every day I walk into my classroom, I'm giving my students honey, because learning is honey, because that's the one thing that could sustain their life. And I take that very seriously with my babies. And so everything is buzz. So we have buzz in, we have buzzworthy news. We have to keep buzzing. So those are the things that I do to engage my students every day. So we have one band, one sound. That is a reference to, anybody know? Anybody? Drumline, good. Make sure that you have consistency of voice and message. If I said it, I tell my students, if I made a mistake, I will honor the mistake that is written. If I make a mistake on a due date, I'll eat that. That's on me. I make sure that I'm communicating to parents and that everything I say, I do what I say I'm going to do. I'm one of those that will email everybody and their mama if it's going to help one of my babies. They're they're special ed case managers, they're administrators, they're student service contacts, they're CA teachers, they're parents, they're big brothers. Whoever's going to get this work to me, I'm calling them. I am that person. So this is something that I want to leave you with. Yep, I'm good with time. I am weary, but I keep standing and fighting because my students deserve the same spirit of excellence in a remote setting that I deliver face to face. Now, it is almost impossible to recreate it every day, but I bring my honey to my hive. And every day I teach like it is my last. So in this season, please show your teachers how much they mean to the school, to the students, and the community in this May, in spirit and in truth. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, I'll be here for the rest of our time together.